Hey guys, Charles Vaughn, Liquor CEO here. Just wanted to hop on real quick. Busy time of the year for us here, preparing up for October, November, December holiday season. Got a lot of events coming up for our existing portfolio and brands. But just wanted to kind of share a couple of thoughts as to what I'm experiencing, what I'm hearing from a lot of you that are reaching out. Seems to be a lot of questions around licensing. And I'm going to offer you a perspective on licensing right now that's going to be a little interesting. And if you hear any buzzing noise, they're doing work in the building, so I apologize for that. I just wanted to get the content out, so I apologize for the noise, the buzzing sound. I wouldn't worry too much about licensing initially if you're developing a brand. Let's focus on two areas. Formulation, getting the liquid right, getting that perfect taste of what you want and getting that out right. And then also feasibility, which is going to translate what you're making into a cost and let that run north to see exactly what the economic model is going to look like as we work our way towards price to consumer through the tiers. I think that's the most important thing. You need to spend time on, is this even feasible to do? From there, you can then say, hey, listen, there's a pathway towards margin success. We can hit our target margins, our goals, and there is a business to be built around this. So let's go ahead and from that point on, start to worry about the licensure of what you're going to need to do it. I will say this though, on the topic of licensures, if you're using a distillery in the United States, they're going to have all the licenses that need to be done to prepare it. So don't worry too much about what licenses do I need to produce. You don't need anything. The distillery has it. And if you're trying to create a producer's permit, you're going to need millions of dollars to buy to get a place, to get equipment, and you're months, if not years out to get that all running and set up and everything. And then you don't want to deal with that. So just understand from initially that the producer, the distillery is going to have, the co-packer, they're going to have the permits they needed to do something. I think where you need to focus on, if you do want to do your own research, is focus on the various wholesaler permits that you need in your state or what state you're talking about. Because in order to possess inventory in a warehouse, you need to have some version of a wholesaler or importer's permit or something like that at the state level. You obviously need a federal permit too, but those are by default easier to get. Distillery permits are a little harder to get at the federal level. They're called DSPs, Distilled Spirits Producers Permit. But even harder at the state level. There's a lot more work that goes into the state distillery permits. But again, you don't have to worry about that. But even for federal purposes, you will need a basic permit for wholesaler and or importer, and you will need a state importer or wholesaler's permit as well. The state side is always more invasive than the federal side, at least at the wholesale tier 2 level. So just know that going into it. But then that's going to pave the way for you to be able to have a warehouse and have your things in it. There's a lot of requirements, whether you qualify or whether you don't qualify for it. Need to look into those. Varies from state to state. I always say 50 states, 50 different sets of rules. So look into the states you're interested in, see what it takes to qualify for wholesaler, see what licenses you may need. Some states, like I said, importers may be able to house inventory or suppliers, but you may need some version of a wholesaler. And that's going to open up a plethora of things, both good and bad. Good, you may be able to sell directly to retail accounts if you're an importer or licensed appropriately. Bad, shit ton of compliance. A lot of paperwork to the point where not only are you covering the nut to have a warehouse and inventory and forklifts and cars and sales reps and delivery trucks, is what it is, but you're also going to have people to handle the compliance for you, which is a pain in the backside. I do it every month. I get audited twice a year. Believe me, probably not the best decision I've ever made in the world, but it satisfies a purpose and we're growing into it. You know, every quarter we're growing into it. So that's what you need to focus on initially. Focus on the juice, focus on the feasibility and your economic models. Work that out, then worry about the other things. I'll probably do other videos later on about that piece, but that's what I wanted to get on there and share with you right now. Initially about that question. What licenses do I need to get started? You don't. Focus on finding the right distillery, work out the formulation, get it right, let that translate into a cost, and then start running your cost of goods sold, economic models all the way through price to consumer through the tiers. Make that work. Be happy with your margins. Understand the downstream things and marketing activation support you're going to need to cover out of that margin. If it works for you and you're happy with it and you think you can make a living on it, proceed on to full-blown brand development at that point. Identify your market, etc., etc. 40-80spirits.com. Reach out if you need anything on the Contact Us page. Good luck. Cheers to 24 and 25.